boy and I are fixing to head to the woods. I'm going over there to meet him now. Do a little deer scouting. Hopefully we can find something to hunt next year. See who made it through the year. I'm going to Cahaba Wildlife Management Area. Hunt a little spot that, or scout a little spot that I used to hunt. And I haven't hunted in a long time and been wanting to get back over there and do a little scouting, so I'm headed that way now. Bye. We're at Cahaba going to do a little scout trip. Start on this power line first. We dropped off in this little drainage right here, and this drainage drops in between two high ridges, and it looks like these bucks are maybe going down this drainage instead of cutting around the head of it. Maybe they're utilizing this drainage to go to the food source, which is across the highway down there. Starting to rain, but we already found one possible bed. Would be an old bed for sure, and a little cluster of rubs right here behind us in the head of this drainage. Probably 10 rubs maybe, all within 15 yards of each other, but they're all early season rubs. Some of them on some big trees, so that's got me excited. Got some fresh deer droppings down in this little draw, so some of the deer are going down through here for sure. Deer tracks and droppings. Well, what these deer are doing, going around the edge of this thing, all these rubs, this is rub line going around the edge. That might be one of the fresher rubs I've seen. Well, if these deer are going to go anywhere, they'd be going up and down this highest ridge right here. And that right there does look like a good rub. Stand beside that rub and see how high it is. About waist high. It's a good rub. We want something bigger than that. We can find it. Yeah, I can see this deer walking through all this privet. A little bit of a rub there, but where is Mac Daddy? That's what I want. I'm on a pretty good little old trail right here, paralleling the end of these ridges. I bet you just right above us is a doe bed area. I imagine these bucks probably travel this trail right here. I see a buck rub right there on that tree. Old buck rub. All these are going to go back up to that draw where we came from, so we need to turn around and go the other way so we can see if we can find a bedding. So we know where that leads to. Where one's laid down.
I'm walking a trail right now that's going down this ridge.
Yeah, that trail above us, all them tracks just started meandering off of that trail and led me right down here to this. You can look, it's just super thick and trashy all the way around this little thing. It's like a little hub of trash. Crazy thick, but you can kind of see through it, and then right down below me it opens up a little bit. Yeah, this is a buck bed right here for sure. You can see where it, yeah, well, this is one spot where he's been laying. We don't have snow in Alabama to follow, so what we actually have to follow is the deer tracks themselves. And you can see we may have got this deer up, or may not have, but these tracks are all going downhill, going around through here. That's what we have to follow. Wouldn't it be nice if we had snow to follow? I just come out of that one bed area above us. Looked like only maybe one or two deer tops were bedding there, but I believe they're bucks with all the rubs. I'm on a rub line trail right now. My son is just on the other side over there. This trail splits. I don't know if you can see him over there or not. Anyway, he's But here you got a trail that cuts and connects these two trails together on a parallel trail. So I'm going to follow this trail, keep that parallel trail in my mind. I want to see if both these trails end up merging back together down in there in that draw. Can't really tell it. There's possibly a bed right there. My son just hollered and said he found a bed on that other knob. This could be doe bedding down here. I'm going to walk over and see what he's got. I'm walking this trail that crosses these two that connect them together. Heading over here to where he is. He said he found a bed on that knob. I'm sure this trail probably leads straight to it. Pretty decent little trail that I'm on right here, son. It's connecting these two trails. That little knob where I was, you can kind of see an old rub there. Anyway, that little knob it just came from had possibly an old deer bed on it. It's doe bedding for sure. I can already see droppings and fresh droppings, old droppings. Here. Right there's old droppings. Right here. Fresher droppings. You can just see that they're young deer, probably does. You start finding all these droppings. That's a fresh bed there.
2, 3.
Yeah, it's a group of does right here. One bed right there. Really fresh beds. Another bed right there. Another bed over there. You got this little hump of dirt right here where they lay up against. Pretty good little spot for deer to be. It's just enough thick cover in here to keep them hid, just far enough off main trails. Oh, there's beds behind it too. See that bed up there? Yeah, that's a big old fresh dump there. I wonder if that's a hog.
That's what I thought when I saw it.
Man, that's fresh. You think? Another fresh bed right there. Look in the bed real good and see if you see hog hair or deer hair. Just look real close. It's deer. Yeah, they deer hair all in this bed. I don't know if you can see that or not. Get it on film. A lot of deer hair in this bed. So it's definitely deer. That might be old Big Buck's droppings where he come over here to check out Susie, Sally, and Christy May. There's deer beds on this hill up above us too. I can see them from here.
I followed the trail. It was on your left when I came around.
Yeah, this little ridge here is covered up in doe beds. So I'm going to waypoint this one because we definitely want to know where all the doe beds are. Real nice, pretty little thick area, but not too thick. That trail that's paralleling all these little beds, I guarantee that's the trail the Bucky used when he comes in here to check these does. They're down there, deer beds everywhere. What do you got, about 10 beds maybe? They're everywhere. There's deer bed over there too. Look, see it?
Come here.
Yeah,
That don't look like deer.
you know, I ain't never seen deer turds like that. I really ain't never seen hog turds like that.
But this one looks more like
These
what I've
are,
seen before. Look at this one.
These are huge and kind of gooey.
That one's the freshest of them.
See, that right there is super fresh. That could be deer droppings. Maybe the rain's just pounded on them so much they've smoothed it out. We've had a lot of rain.
Here's the hair I
A
found.
lot of deer. And them long hairs too. You know what it means when it's long hairs, don't you?
I need a haircut.
It means they need a haircut. That's right. I mean, there's some buck rubs around all these deer beds, but they're all old buck rubs, you know. There's nothing real fresh and nothing real huge either. I want to see a muy grande. Let's follow this parallel trail. Because it'll lead, there'll probably be another set of doe beds on this other ridge. That ridge over there looks thicker than this one. It might be a buck bed over there. We'll follow it and see. It's pretty in here. So you can't really get a, there's a couple of places you could squeeze in a tree stand. But you'd have to come in here and kind of clean it up first. Those are pretty fresh droppings right there on this trail. We ain't gone, what, 20, 30 yards from the beds now. Got droppings all up and down this trail, so that right in there has got my interest up, because that right there is some more thick. And these deer just walking the upper edge of it. Matthew, I'm gonna go down and go. There was a trail down there at the bottom. I'm gonna walk the bottom edge. You stay on the top edge.
Alright.
I'm gonna walk the bottom edge, see if I can see more rubs. You ain't seen no rubs on this trail, do you?
No.
I think the doe's probably walking this trail. I'm gonna go to the other side, downwind. Should be the downwind side predominantly. Yeah, that's what I thought. I figured Big Boy would be cutting right through the middle of all this stuff right here. Pretty decent little trail going right through the middle of it. You know, there's an awful lot of old rubs in here.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be bedded up on that hump there. It's too open. You don't see anything up there, do you?
No, but it's starting to get thick now farther.
Well, you follow that little pinch where it's thick, and I'm gonna go right here to the left where it gets real thick, because I see all these little trails branching off to the left. I'm gonna follow them. Yeah, I got one pretty good sized bed over here, son, right on this little knob where it gets thick. It's an old bed though. It ain't real fresh, but you could tell it's been a bed at one time. I'm just guessing from all the old rubs that I see around here on this knob that maybe a bigger buck might have been bedding right here in this little knob early season. It's possible. A lot of old rubs in here. So they used to cross right here where I'm standing, but they moved down 50 yards parallel in this creek. It's not really a fresh track, but you can see that's a pretty big, deep track, so it's a heavy-footed deer. And they're all going to go up. I bet you they're going to go up to that bed area in that corner where I was telling you they all bed. I bet all these trails are going to lead that way. There in the mud, you can see it's not a big track, but you can see the track's a little bitty track right there. I'd say it's some does, maybe yearlings crossing right here.
The does too.
That,
pretty fresh though, right?
that big track was down there lower, parallel the creek. I think it's supposed to be about 10 yards down below you. But anyway, they're all going the same direction, so that's good.
Yeah, they're all going this way.
This trail is going straight up this hill, but now it splits to the right and the left where you're at over there.
I see the trail.
And then it goes straight up the hill. I'm gonna go straight up. Keep following this, 'cause I think there are gonna be beds on top of this. I don't see any beds on this first knob, but I see a bunch of old rubs again, kind of clustered up right here. If you look, you can just see how that thing just drops off. You got this little knob on the end. Could be a little stage area from the bed area that I'm fixing to go to. I don't see anything that really gets me super excited, just a bunch of little rubs. I've walked maybe 60, 70 yards. I think I'm getting closer to bed areas. I can't really tell. But I'm starting to see a bunch of trails just splitting off, going different directions. One going down that hill, over that little finger ridge. It kind of just a bunch of trails splitting off. Hopefully I'm getting closer to a bed area right up on top. Could be where they're at. No, I can tell you right now, there ain't gonna be no deer beds right here. This is just gonna be one of them little ridges where everything comes together. It's gonna have to be further away than this. Maybe on that end out there. I'm gonna walk that end out there. I see a bunch of crap out there on that knob. It could be a deer bed or two out there close to this little junction. Well, once I got down here to this knob, there's no beds around here. I figured maybe some of these blow down trees and stuff might have a bed around it, but I think it's just too open. There's just not enough clutter in here for a deer to hide. I mean, it's open right outside this, but you could see down in here too easy. If a deer was bedded down, it might be too vulnerable. I thought maybe right in here where all this little clump of trash was might be a deer bed or two, but I'm not seeing it. That little knob looked real promising, but if you stand on a log road, that kind of explains why this ain't a bed area. Log road's just too close to them. Probably too much human traffic walking up and down that. That right there, that little knob on the end, it looks pretty down there. There's a lot of deer tracks right there on that little spot where all the trails come together on that little flat. That'd be an easily accessible spot to get to if you'd just be catching deer traveling. I'm still seeing all these old rubs everywhere. I'm still following this rub line, the old rub line. I don't know where to take me, but we're just gonna keep backtracking it till we try to find him. You see deer been walking in here. You can see the tracks. He's been walking this direction actually. And I'm just following these deer tracks. That's a big set of tracks in this pine straw too. Got one trail, just a small trail, crisscrossing right here, going around the side of this ridge, but you can follow these deer tracks. This deer just meandering around through here. Walking down as you go in your direction. I lost him over here.
I'm on a trail.
You see the tracks. I lost his tracks. Well, I was following the tracks, but then lost his tracks. Anyway, he's going down here, so let's just go on down here and see where he's going to. I guess he's walking that trail you're on. I wonder what this is right here at the bottom of these trees. You ever see that? I've been seeing that a lot. Just a big pile right at the bottom of a tree. It almost looks like some kind of turds, but it ain't. So you got deer droppings all on this trail?
Mm-hmm. Two piles. One right here. Another one somewhere.
Okay.
Oh, here it is.
Any of them fresh? Real fresh?
We had 5 inches of rain a few days ago.
Semi-fresh. Some small does. Maybe a group of does walking this trail. Pretty though. Pretty little draw right here. Now you're gonna have some hardwoods right down there. You know, People don't believe it when you tell them that deer are still hunting acorns and you know, feeding on them. But if you come over here, these little post oaks, all over here, the ground is just tore up everywhere where they're still hunting and digging for these acorns. I don't know if you can actually see it on camera or not, but you can see they're just scraping the ground, pawing, digging, looking for any acorns left on the ground. And they still feed on them this time of year. Of course, you got greenbrier stuff down here too, and they've nipped the tops basically out of every one of these greenbriers going up and down this creek. Every one of these done got the tops nipped out of them all the way up through there. You look right here, it's good in it. Good sign how they've just bit the tops out of them. I don't know if you can see that or not on film, but this is what they feed on this time of year. Some of these where they bit it, you know, earlier in the season, tips done turn brown, but definitely a place where they milling around, browsing, looking for acorns. I find a place where they digging for mushrooms, I'll point that out too if I can find a place. Just hold what you got right here, because we got this is literally a beat down little trail coming around through here. And to my left on top of this ridge is thick. I'm gonna walk up there and see if I see any beds up there real quick. Won't you see that ridge to your left? Yeah, hit that ridge, see if you find any beds on it. These beds are gonna be right in here somewhere off the edge of this hardwoods in that thick stuff. Well, that's another ridge that kind of looked promising. These deer are paralleling these ridges above these hardwood bottoms on the edges, which is typically where you would expect to see a deer trail of that nature, where deer are just traveling. But there's another log road up here on top of this ridge. So every one of these ridges, some of them gonna have log roads on them, and dropping off into another deep hardwood bottom down there. But I don't see any fingers coming off of this long ridge. If I see a good finger coming off of it, I expect to see some deer bedding on it. But it looks like it's just gonna drop off straight into that hollow, and I expect the only thing I'll find is probably another trail paralleling this long ridge. So looks like a scrape up here in the road. I'll take a peek at it, see what it looks like. Yeah, they still tearing the ground up in this log road here. Kind of see overhanging branches. Looking at them, they're about chin high to me. See this ugly guy right here by this licking branch? I want to see one that's I got to reach up to touch. That's what I'm looking for, and I ain't found it yet, but I'm gonna keep looking. Looking ahead, just as I spoke, it looks like they just might be a long finger ridge coming off this logging road to the left. Reason I say to the left, because, well, there's a rub right there heading that way. Yep. That explains a little bit. I'm going to have to walk out there and see what's there. I just got to go. Did you say you found some beds over there? Maybe. Well, rub line's heading right over here. There's a pretty fresh scrape up there in the road. Not real fresh, but it's fresh enough they're still using it. But it ain't indicating a big buck. Walk out here and see if there's any beds on the end of this finger ridge. Well, you know it's getting better when you got to start ducking under limbs and crawling over stuff. to get in here.
Two spots look like could be old beds out there.
Yeah, this is good looking spot right here. All this clumped up stuff. Let's see if we can find a bed here. I see the cleared out spot right here. You see how it's right in the middle of all this trash? That pine tree right there, I'm interested in see if there's something on the other side of it, facing the downhill side, because if they had a northwest wind, it'd be a northwest wind in the back off this ridge going into that draw. It's real steep on both sides, so they got good escape route. And I would think if I was a buck, I'd bed right over there somewhere. That's definitely an old buck bed that I was standing in there. Maybe something fresh here, I hope. I don't see any fresh sign. Sometimes when you're out there in the woods, you're looking for a trail to hunt, and you find something like this right here, where all these trails pinch together right above this brush top. It's kind of like this brush top has veered them off, so they all merge right here. So this is the point where I'd want to aim at if I could get the wind right around the knob, come in from the bottom side. You got a creek there. You could probably walk that creek all the way up here, stay concealed, and enter this little knob and hunt this pinch. You probably kill a buck right here, especially if they're cruising. You can see where they're going around the top of that and the bottom of that. That's a pretty good trail, just going down and to the side. But all these trails, when they come in here, they all merge right here, don't they? Because of that blow down. They either go around the top of it or right around the bottom of it. And you got a bow shot to either side. And because it right there it drops off real steep, that too, the terrain will pinch them to this spot. So I like this spot right here for hunting. There's no beds. I mean, there's no fresh beds here. There's just one bed up on top up there above all that, but I like this spot. That could be a bed over there in that clump. It's possible, I doubt it. One thing's for sure, there's some big old droppings going around this edge. I got some more big droppings there. They probably just going around this edge. You can see a lot of greenbrier, honeysuckle right here. They browsing on every one of them. The tips is basically bit out of every one of these briars here. Pretty spot. That right there is a lot of fresh deer tracks. That old rub, that's a little better rub than what I've been seeing. And I like this creek crossing right here. Now I don't see anything fresh, super fresh, but I still like this spot.
You got a white oak. Those.
So they're just crossing up and down through here in different areas and parallel in this creek in this bottom. Those are some pretty big tracks though.
I'm following them backwards.
Get this camera aim on it. Going that direction. You know, right above that, where I just stepped, I bet there's another creek crossing 10 yards above it. And I bet it's fresh. I'm going to walk over to it real quick. Yeah, I like this little bottom here. This is one of those bottoms that's kind of secluded from everything else. You got a little bit of cane brake and stuff in here. It's thick enough. Some blowdowns. Multiple creek crossings. And this trail I'm walking parallel in the creek is beat down solid compared to anything we've seen before. You know, it ain't quite like a cattle path I've seen some places in South Alabama, but for this place, this is a pretty good trail. This, you can see that thick bottom right there. It's got all them, I don't know what kind of trees those are, but boy, it just makes for a tangled mess. And a big old buck walking this drainage would come right through here. And he might actually create a signpost rub similar to this right here. You know, that goes really all the way from the ground up to, how high you say that is? About chest high maybe? Pretty good. That's more of the kind of rub I'm looking for. That's an old rub, and he obviously has been rubbing it both directions. Okay, we've made it back out to a gas line, which is a property line. And I know a lot of you guys ain't found any shed claws, but we have found a major shed claw out here. So definitely this would be a place to look for some Mac Daddy crawdads. Got buck rub there, buck rub there, small buck rub there, old buck rub there, buck rub there, buck rub, buck rub, buck rub there, buck rub there. All of it's old sign. But you know, this is a good hilltop. You can rub the backside of that tree. On that finger ridge where they're going to be bedding. That's great right there. Been done the last day or two. All in here. Just licking branches. A little bit higher. Getting a little bit higher. It's head high. Monster buck rub right there. Ooh, those right there fool you now. See another buck rub there. Ain't gone 20 yards yet. Another. Where he touched that tree there. Walking through here, you can see he's rubbed a little bit on that tree there. You know how we came up that creek bottom on the other side and found that tree blowed down? And I said to him that was a good place for a buck bed. And then we came on this side. We used to hunt this side all the time. I told you bucks used to bed out here all the time. We're at that blowdown where all those trails merge. And these bucks did used to bed right here, but they're not bedding here no more. And that's why. All that human activity on this backside's what's caused these...
We walked this road up, cut left, went down to the bottom, and just came back to the same road.
Pretty much made a big circle right here is what we've done. But if we hadn't have gone on around there, we never would have found all that human activity, which explains why these deer have relocated this area, vacated it more or less. What you confused about?
This is the logging road on top of the high hill.
Yeah.
That we used to access.
Right.
From the old
Remember we crossed that creek earlier?
Mm-hmm. I know we're on the right side.
Yeah, don't mention any names because this is gonna be might be on YouTube. And we're not gonna tell our secrets where we're at. So don't mention any what do you call waypoints or strategic locations of that nature. Yeah. This road that you're following going back out is the road we used to access coming in to this corner. Mm-hmm. This creek.
But this road has a steep downhill at some point?
It does. It goes. Okay. We had to come up that giant mountain to get up here. Now this side right here, this drainage that we were on, we came in from the other side of that drainage. And then we came up to this ridge here looking for deer beds, all these trails going this way. And back there where we were is where they all crisscross, where all that buck sign was. But back here, they're going to veer off, and there's another area down here that I want to look at. So if we follow this trail, this log road back out, we'll go back out. We got to go this way anyway to get back to the truck, eventually.
Yes.
So why don't we just go ahead and hit this?
I thought that drop-off was closer than what it was. We walked a pretty good distance down this logging road.
No, it's a pretty good way. It's another 200 yards before it starts. it's going to bear down right. You're probably not 100 yards from it where you were. It's going to bear down to the right, and it's going to cross. This is the drainage that we have to climb across right here below us. So if we go down here and hook a left, we're going to end up right back here at this log road eventually. But I want to scout this bottom out.
Okay.
Show you some good sign. So you hadn't seen any good sign yet? Just acceptable sign?
I've seen huntable signs.
Huntable sign?
It's gotten me excited today.
Well, I'll be honest, I ain't seen anything got me excited yet either. And we may be wasting our time looking for big boy here, but we're eliminating property if nothing else. There's some bucks in here to hunt, but you're not going to find no. I don't think there's a 150, 160 class living here like it used to be. Too much going on. Woods has done got too big, open. I mean, back then we was hunting a buck. What did Stan called it? The Mutual of Omaha buck. What's that buck? The Hartford buck. That's what he said it looked like. He said that thing looked like an elk. I said, why didn't you shoot it? He said he couldn't get a shot. Yeah, all these trails going parallel this side. Okay, too much human activity back to the north of us, for sure. Even these deer, when they travel from that end to this end, a lot of these deer are running down in this bottom where it's really thick. You could tell by these beat down trails and the fresh tracks in them that they're not going too far north of here. Most of them going to stay south, west, and east of here, but not north. Too much activity north. This is a pretty good little trail we on here. That crossing right here is pretty heavy. Dang, them briars are sharp.
So this is also the very bottom. They're, you know, so just running the bottom.
Yeah, but those are fresh tracks.
Yeah, more on the other side where they're hopping over.
Yeah. See where they're digging up that bank. Alright, we need to, they're going, look where they're going.
Up the hill.
Up that ridge. That's where they're going to be. You know, on the end of that ridge, you know how that, do you remember the end of that ridge? It used to be all doe bedding, and we'd come down there and hunt below it on the other side and kill all them doe off the macon trees. I think that's that same ridge right there going that direction. So this is pretty right here. Let's waypoint this. Do you recognize this little area right here? Huh? We used to come in on the other side and access this corner right here. Oh. And this trail is still the same trail that it was 10 years ago. Pretty beat down through here. Well, you can see how thick it is going through here. They got the bank dug out, ain't they? Is the sign getting any better for you? Yeah, this is definitely a heavy used trail right here. You like them kind of roads better?
You see the old one? They used to run?
It's a little bit.
A little fresher.
Oh, still kind of see the claw marks or antler marks a little bit on it. Frayed up.
There was a time, and you remember it, when we used to come down here and
Well, back then it was a lot thicker than it is now. You couldn't walk through this mess back then. These woods have growed up a lot. They're still pretty thick. And they're still utilizing this spot. Just not like they used to. Which is why you got to come in here and scout. Can't rely on what you did 10 years ago. They jumping right here, ain't they? This is definitely a beat down. We need to get on the other side, keep following this trail, because I just want to know how this connects where we were a while ago to the front side. I want to know how this connects somehow. Have you noticed though that we're starting to see some really big tracks in here now? Even in the leaves you can see these tracks are just much bigger, heavy. There's a big deer in here. I don't know where he's at, but he's in here somewhere using this location. You see all they're going both directions, ain't they?
All of them are going that way.
All right, we want to backtrack that trail then, because we already know what's that way. We want to see where they're coming from.
Those tracks going.
Well, they're all going that direction too. And they're big tracks though. Some big, small, medium.
Well, there's a trail that goes up that ridge that direction.
Well,
so maybe they're all just hitting that same trail and going up.
I don't know. It
Decent
could
trail.
be.
I just thought it was.
Is that right there is not very far from where we found all those deer beds earlier. It's just further down from where we were originally. How far are we from all the deer beds right now?
There's no way we came from this corner
No, it's
and we're now 500 something yards from where that road to the top of that hill. That road's right up there that we were just at.
yeah. If that road angles away from this direction, we hadn't gone 400 yards from them beds.
Where I marked it on this waypoint, wherever it had me at the time, that's the distance.
All right. I'm up on this finger ridge right here. I found some deer beds up here. One deer bed anyway. I'm gonna waypoint this. Matthew's following a beatdown trail right below me. I'm on a little flat. Not far from the bottom, but it's far enough away from the bottom that there's a lot of deer activity right here. Deer droppings everywhere. Scrape right there. There gotta be some deer beds right here somewhere. There's a deer bed right there. There's a deer bed right there. And let's see. Come on. Come on, baby. Show me another deer bed. I know you're in here. There's a fresher rub right there on a tree. Smaller deer, not a big deer. This little finger right here should have some deer beds in it. Well, it's just one bed. I seen two deer beds in here. Hey, where you at? Come on, you gotta have more deer beds than that. Where are you laying? Gotta be laying here somewhere. There's a deer bed right there. There's a deer bed. Alright, 3 deer beds here. What else? What else we got? I guess that other deer bed I saw a while ago. Same one. Waypoint this. More deer beds. You can tell by all the droppings. There's droppings everywhere. There's droppings there. There's droppings over there to the left. There's some more wet smudge droppings there. And There's some more droppings there. Start getting in here in these bed areas, you start finding more droppings, and these little flat areas got thick cover all around them, and they ain't got to go far for escape routes in here. So it's a pretty good little spot. It's secluded too. You know, human pressure ain't gonna come back in here as far as these deer are. I mean, it's quite. You never get in here without them knowing it. Let me just say that. And I see several little buck rubs in here. I don't think it's a big buck area. It don't look like it. It's not got my excitement up at all. But I'm gonna waypoint anyway. A lot of times too, when you get into a deer bed area, you'll start seeing bones where somebody's killed a deer and it's come down in here and laid down, died, and of course coyotes probably drug the rest of it around here. Who knows where? Those are pretty old bones, but another indicator that you could be in a bed area. So I like this little corner right here. You got some big deer tracks walking this trail right here. And this could be like a little stage area where he's hanging up. It's a good rub there. Pretty good rub there. One right there beside him. Here, right above this is where we found all them other rubs too. This thick edge right here. You can see the rub line going that direction. Down that way. Way on down you can see another rub. Can't see it on camera. I'm gonna try to zoom in on it. Y'all get all dizzy. Pretty good rub line going down through here. This is where we started when we first came in that corner. So this leads me to believe that that back up there where we first started scouting might be the best spot to hunt. We got a lot more land in here we got to scout out first, because where that trail goes up off that deep hump, I want to check it out next time we come in here. We run out of daylight. This video was intended to be just a record keeping for myself and my son. Kind of jog our memory from time to time, looking back on it. But I thought it might be interesting to post it on YouTube, see if somebody out there might pick up a little something here and there from watching it. I don't know if anybody will be able to or not, considering they don't have boots on the ground with us, because in my opinion watching videos is not going to teach you anything. Getting boots on the ground, actually going into the woods, looking at the sign, putting the pieces of the puzzle together is what makes you learn. You can watch all the videos you want, and you'll probably never learn as much as you can by actually getting out there, walking the trails, looking for rubs, checking out scrapes, finding beds, thinking about wind direction, how your access is going to be going in and out of the properties, when you're going to hunt it, morning, evening, midday. All these things take a tremendous amount of consideration to be successful. But I hope you enjoyed it anyway. Thank you, and y'all have a great day.